Thank you for joining AMTA's presentation to explain the upcoming 2023 Secor audit tool changes. In this presentation, we will provide an overview of the changes, outline the new content, review timelines, scores, and reminders, and provide you with a list of resources to ensure your 2023 audit is a success. This was a government-directed project to make revisions necessitated by the OHS legislation finalized on December 1, 2021. A subcommittee made up of certifying partners and led by partnerships was formed in January 2022 to update the audit criteria, content of health and safety management system building, and auditor training courses, and to revise the partnership's audit instruments for Secor. The Secor audit tool will now consist of 10 elements in total. The two new elements are health and safety representatives and other parties at or in the vicinity of the worksite. These were already legislative requirements that will now be captured in the audit. Element 2, hazard identification and assessment, will now include questions for site-specific hazard assessments. Element 3, hazard control, has added questions for violence and harassment plans. Partnerships has updated their definition of owner-operator. An owner-operator is a company where all work is done by the owners, there is one owner with allowance of a spouse doing the administrative work, and it does not have workers as per core definition. What does this mean? As an owner-operator, you will have more questions that can be marked as non-applicable, and there will be allowances for who can take the self-evaluator training. Element 4, health and safety representatives. Health and safety representation is a key element of the internal responsibility system. The role brings worksite parties together to work on topics such as hazard identification and control, investigation of health and safety incidents, and responding to reports of unsafe work. If an employer chooses to go above the legislation and establish a health and safety committee, then the committee documentation is used to answer the question to this element. Question 4.1. Has a health and safety representative been designated as per legislated requirements? As per the guidelines, attach policies, procedures, meeting minutes, or documentation that can verify that the HS representative has been designated as per legislated, Alberta and/or federal requirements. This question can be marked NA if the employer is not required by legislation to have an HS representative. Justification will be required. Question 4.2. Are assigned duties identified for the HS representative as per legislative requirements? As per the guidelines, attach supporting documentation. Duties of the HS representative must be written and meet legislated Alberta or federal requirements. This question could be marked NA if the employer is not required by legislation to have an HS representative. Justification is required. Question 4.3. Is the HS representative trained for their role as per legislated requirements? As per the guidelines, attach training records for the HS representative. This question can be marked NA if the employer is not required by legislation to have an HS representative. Justification is required. Training needs to cover roles and responsibilities of the HS representative, worker rights, and obligations of worksite parties to ensure they are trained as per legislated requirements, Alberta, or to federal legislation for federally regulated employers. Question 4.4. Is the HS representative completing their duties as per legislative requirements? As per the guidelines, attach a representative sampling of documentation that supports duties are being completed as per legislated Alberta federal requirements. This question can be marked NA if the employer is not required by legislation to have HS representative. Justification is required. Question 4.5. Is there a system in place for the HS representative to address employee health and safety concerns or complaints and provide recommendations to the employer? As per the guidelines, attach the policy or procedure. This question can be marked NA if the employer is not required by legislation to have HS representative. Justification is required. Question 4.6. Are the health and safety concerns or complaints resolved in a timely manner as per legislated requirements? As per the guidelines, attach supporting documentation. This question may be marked NA if there were no concerns in the previous 12 months. Justification is required. Question 4.7. Is the HS representative contact information readily available to employees as per legislated requirements? As per the guidelines, attach supporting documentation or provide a note that explains where the information is posted or how it is accessible to employees. This question may be marked NA if the employer is not required by legislation to have an HS representative. Element 6. Other parties at or in the vicinity of the worksite. When an employer is contracting out work to other employers, the employer must ensure these parties have been included in the OHS management system. Employers must also ensure the health and safety of persons in the vicinity of their worksite, including but not limited to ensuring that visitors understand their health and safety responsibilities while on site. Question 6.1. Is a process in place to address the protection of others not under the employer's direction? As per the guidelines, attach the process that demonstrates the protection of other workers, visitors, and other persons not under the employer's direction, but in the vicinity of the worksite. This question cannot be marked not applicable. Question 6.2. Is there a process to ensure hazards and controls are communicated to external worksite parties? As per the guidelines, attach supporting documentation. This could include emails, meeting minutes, orientations, contracts, etc. This process is related to both those conducting activities at the employer worksite or receiving products and materials. External worksite parties include contracting employer, suppliers, service providers, prime contractor, temporary staffing agencies, and other employers. Question 6.3. Is a system in place for selecting other employers? As per the guidelines, attach supporting documentation. A system must be in place and identify health and safety criteria to evaluate and select other employers for hiring purposes. If the employer does not use other employers, this question is marked not applicable. Justification is required. Question 6.4. Is a system in place to regularly monitor other employers? As per the guidelines, attach supporting documentation. The system must identify how other employers' health and safety performance is regularly monitored. If the employer does not use other employers, this question can be marked not applicable. Justification required. Audit timelines for 2023. The new 10-element Secor audit tool will come into effect January 1st, 2023. 2023 Secor audit submissions will not be accepted if completed with the old audit tool. Audit timelines will remain the same for 2023. Data gathering, which is your audit start date to audit end date, remains at maximum 15 days. And your audit report writing and submission, which is your time from audit end date to submission to AMTA, remains at a maximum of 21 days. For your submission options, the paper version will still be available. We are happy to also offer AuditSoft. This is an electronic audit tool that is easy to use and will save you time, shipping costs, risks of being late, and make it easier to upload and manage the documentation for your audit. Please check your email, as all current Secor holders will receive a copy of the 2023 audit tool so that you can review and prepare for 2023. Minimum scores also remain the same. In a certification year, a score of 80% overall with no less than 50% in any element is required. In a maintenance year, a score of no less than 60% overall is required. There are a lot of great resources online and through the AMTA to help you prepare for your 2023 Secor audit. AMTA's workplace support services are also available to provide their expertise and resources. We have prepared several guidance documents to help with the new content in the audit. These will also be sent out in the email that goes out to all the Secor holders and will be available on the website. If you have taken Health and Safety System Building anytime since 2019, you will have your course materials that cover all 10 elements. If you feel you may need a refresher, course registration can be done at amta.ca under Courses and Safety Training. And as always, ensure your self-evaluator training is also valid at the time of your audit. This concludes the overview of the upcoming 2023 Secor audit tool. If you have further questions, please feel free to reach out to AMTA's core department.